Hey people, welcome back to the Bricks with Tips YouTube channel. Now today I wanted to tell you a story. This story is about Sarah, a lady who lived in her London flat for 6 years. She paid her rent on time every single month, didn't cause any problems. Then one morning a letter came through her door. 21 words that changed everything. Your landlord is exercising their right to regain possession of their property under section 21. There was no reason, no explanation, just 8 weeks to pack up her life and go. Now the thing is, Sarah is one of 71,000 households who received the Section 21 notice last year. But here's the thing, in a few weeks' time, that letter becomes illegal, and everything that you think you know about renting in England is about to change forever. On the 1st of May 2026, the Renters' Rights Act comes into force. This is the biggest overhaul of private renting that we've seen in over 3 decades. Whether you're a landlord or a tenant, you need to understand that this is happening right now and the clock is ticking. Let me give you some critical dates you need to write down. 1st of May 2026 is when the new rules kick in for all tenancies. That's not long away. 31st of May 2026 is the deadline for landlords to provide mandatory information sheets to existing tenants. If you miss that deadline, you could face fines of up to £7,000. And by autumn 2026, the government plans to have the new private rented sector database and ombudsman fully operational. Now, these are not vague future promises. This is happening right now. So you need to lock in. But some of you may be thinking, why should I care? Why does this one matter more than just another headline about housing policy? This one in particular affects 11 million private renters in England. And if you're not good with your numbers, that's nearly 1 in 5 of the entire population. Further to that, it affects 2.3 million landlords, many of whom have no idea that these changes are coming. Furthermore, if you didn't know these changes were coming, just let me know in the comments below and make sure you like and subscribe while you're at it. But look, this fundamentally rewrites the relationship between the people who own property and the people who live in it. If you're a tenant, you've probably felt that constant background anxiety, that fear that at any moment your landlord could decide to sell up or move a family member into their house and you would have to leave. Even if you've done nothing wrong, even if you've been the perfect tenant, that feeling probably still remains year after year. Now the thing is, for tenants, that fear affects everything. It affects whether you put down roots. It affects whether you decorate. It affects whether the house feels like your actual home. Now, right now, if you're a landlord, you might be thinking, great, so now I'm stuck with nightmare tenants forever with no way to get my property back. And I understand that fear, but I'll be so honest with you about the situation. Both sides are exaggerating, and I'm going to tell you why. The Renters' Rights Act abolishes Section 21 of the Housing Act 1988. This is the so-called no-fault eviction. For nearly 40 years, landlords have been able to end a tenancy simply by serving notice. No reason required, no justification needed. Just 2 months notice and you're out. Now, as I mentioned, from the 1st of May 2026, that power disappears completely for new tenancies. And get this, for existing tenancies, it phases out over the following months. This is because every tenancy automatically becomes a periodic tenancy. That means no more fixed terms, no more being locked in for 12 months, then worrying about renewal. Your tenancy just rolls on month to month with proper protections. Now, landlords can still evict tenants. This isn't some free-for-all where you can just stop paying rent and stay forever. But now they have to use Section 8, which requires a specific legal ground. Things like rent arrears for at least 2 months, antisocial behaviour, the landlord genuinely wanted to sell the property or move in themselves, but here's the key difference. These grounds have to be proven. They have to be genuine, and tenants can actually challenge them in court. The Act also introduces new tenant rights that did not exist before. Tenants will now have the right to request a pet, and landlords cannot unreasonably refuse. Tenants can challenge rent increases they believe are excessive through a tribunal. And there are new protections against discrimination during application processes. Landlords will no longer be able to impose blanket bans on tenants receiving benefits or tenants with children. But here's where we need to talk about who is really behind all of this and what is going on. You might think this is the government finally standing up for renters after years of promises. And yes, the Renters' Rights Bill was a Labour manifesto commitment that they actually have delivered on. But let me give you the bigger picture. The private rental sector has been broken for years and we all know it. Not because of bad landlords or individual problem tenants, as much as people on Twitter want you to believe, but this is because of systemic failure to build enough homes. In the 1980s, we had around 2 million private renters. Now we have over 11 million. The sector has exploded, but the rules for governing it were written for a completely different era. Meanwhile, institutional investors have been piling into build-to-rent developments. Big corporations who can afford the compliance cost and legal teams that small landlords cannot. So in actual fact, a lot of the time, small landlords aren't the enemy. Guys, something is happening in the property space, and I'm not even going to say it directly. I'm going to pose a question. Is it a coincidence that legislation making life harder for individual landlords comes just as corporate property investment reaches record levels? Ponder on that. I'll let you draw your own conclusions because I don't want to look like a conspiracy theorist. The government also has political incentive here. Generation rent now outnumbers homeowners, which is crazy. What this means is that promising better renting conditions wins votes. But actually building the homes that would bring down rents and house prices and allow people to build wealth for themselves, it upsets existing homeowners who vote in even larger numbers. In a nutshell, what we end up having is reforms and legislation that plaster over these problems, right? It doesn't actually treat the underlying disease. And there's only so much you can keep plastering over it. But look, the legislation is here, it's happening. So let's focus on what you can actually do about it. Because as you know, at Bricks with Tips, we are very, very solutions based. And guys, you're not going to get this everywhere. So make sure if you are a landlord right now or a tenant, make sure you share this with someone right now. But if you're a landlord, here are 4 things that you need to do right now. Number 1, download and provide the mandatory information sheets to your tenants. The government published these on 20th of March 2026. You still have until 31st of May to give them to all existing tenants. There are different sheets for different situations, so make sure you use the right ones. Get this wrong and you could face fines up to £7,000, which doesn't make any sense. It is excessive, but let's move on to number 2. Number 2. Review your grounds for possession right now before the date comes, right? If you're planning to sell or move back into a property that you own, you need to understand the new rules. Under the Reform Section 8, you can still recover your property, but you need to follow the correct processes. For selling, there's typically a 4-month notice period. And you cannot relet the property within 12 months of using that ground, or you'll face penalties. So what that means for you is that you need to plan ahead and not leave this until the last minute. Number 3, register for the new private rented sector database when it launches. Now look, I hate a database. I hate people knowing I'm letting out. Blah, 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 but it's coming and it's going to be here. And quite often than not, when you are in property, when you are on the right side of legislation, it's much better for you. So this is coming later in 2026. It's going to be a legal requirement. This means every landlord and every property on a searchable public database. Get ahead of it. Make sure that your properties are compliant. Because this database is going to make it very easy for enforcement officers to identify landlords who are not following the rules. Number 4, probably the biggest one. Consider your portfolio strategy. Some landlords will use this as the final push to exit the market. If that is you, then fine, sell up to make your money and go. Some landlords are looking to stay and find other ways where they can shift the responsibility maybe. So they're looking at corporate tenants. That's where someone like myself comes in, because I often take properties off distressed landlords who just want a hands-free, passive income scenario, and I will then use the property to do serviced accommodation, giving them guaranteed rent. This shifts a lot of the legislation requirements onto myself. If that sounds like a solution that you're looking for, please just make sure that you get in contact. My details are in the description below. And then thirdly, a lot of people are choosing to do Airbnb themselves because Airbnb falls out of the scope of needing a Section 21. This is because serviced accommodation guests, whether they are holidaymakers, insurance relocations, or contractors, they all have a separate permanent residence. Your house isn't their permanent residence, so they all go in at some point. Now, onto the tenants. If you are interested in getting into serviced accommodation, just use the links below. We have resources that you can tap into for free and learn a bit about it, and then potentially have the opportunity to work with us as well. Next up, the tenants. If you are a tenant, here are 3 things that you need to know. Number 1, You cannot be evicted without a valid reason from 1st of May onwards. If you receive an eviction notice after that date, it must be a Section 8 notice with a specific ground. If it is not valid. If you are unsure, contact shelter or citizens' advice as soon as you can. Do not assume that you have to leave because you may not have to. Number 2, you can now request a pet, which is a huge one for tenants, right? Your landlord has to respond within 42 days and can only refuse on reasonable grounds. This is a genuine shift in power, but what I will say is be prepared to offer pet insurance or a slightly higher deposit as part of the conversation. Number 3, keep records of everything. The new system relies on proper grounds for eviction. If your landlord claims antisocial behavior, but you have evidence of being a model tenant, that matters. If they say they're selling and you see the property relisted 6 months later, that is illegal and you may be entitled to compensation. Document everything: dates, communication, condition of the property. This will protect you. Now here's the dark twist that almost nobody's talking about. The ground that most tenants should fear is not rent arrears. It's not antisocial behavior. It is ground 1A, the landlords that want to sell. Now, under the new rules, landlords can still evict you if they genuinely intend to sell the property. Yes, there are notice periods. Yes, there are restrictions on reletting, but the courts have historically been very reluctant to challenge whether a landlord genuinely intends to sell. I mean, it's very, very difficult to prove when you think about it. I mean, we're in a market where many smaller landlords are already struggling with higher mortgage rates and increased regulation, and this ground becomes the exit ramp. The tenant experience does not change that much if the result is still you have 12 weeks to find a new home in a situation where a landlord is just looking to sell, and you're heading right into an overheated rental market because your landlord has decided to cash out, which many of them will be wanting to. And this is where we need to understand that the disruption of landlords is not a good thing. It's not something that tenants should be celebrating, because the private landlord provides housing for many, many tenants. Now, don't get me wrong, there are things to protect tenants here. Fines if you claim that you're selling but then relet to a new tenant at higher rent. But enforcement is always the weak link in housing legislation because of the sheer volume. Local authority budgets are stretched. They don't have that much personnel. Trading standard teams are understaffed. How many landlords will actually face consequences versus how many will actually take the risk? Landlords are investors, right? So by nature, they are risk takers. So that's something to consider as well. This is why I remain, and always have remained for years, that the real solution is building more homes. But unfortunately, it seems that votes matter more than that. Look, better tenant protections are always welcome, especially for compliant landlords like myself and a lot of the people who watch this channel. But as long as demand massively outstrips supply, the fundamental power imbalance remains. A tenant with nowhere else to go is still vulnerable regardless of what the legislation says, unfortunately. So where does this leave us, right? The Renters' Rights Act is genuinely significant. It ends a power that landlords have had for nearly 40 years. Crazy. It gives tenants more security, more rights, and more ability to challenge unfair treatment, which I think is a good thing. That matters. However, it's not a magic fix. It doesn't create more homes. It doesn't bring down rents. It doesn't solve the fundamental crisis that too many people are chasing too few properties. Those fights are still here today, and they still will be here when this comes into place. What I want you to do right now is to drop a comment below. Are you a landlord or a tenant? How do you feel about these changes? Are you worried, relieved, confused? I read every single comment and I want to know what questions you still have. If you found this useful, please smash that like button and please do share it with someone as well, as that's hugely important for this channel. And finally, when you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you never, ever, ever miss a new upload.